Hello, happy Tuesday everyone. It's been nice this morning. It wasn't very nice first thing though, but it's getting better. Lunchtime on the Croft, Tuesday morning, 12:08 PM. Well, yesterday's video seems quite popular. I was talking about some of the challenges which we have on the Croft. But in today's video, we're going to talk about why we decided to move 500 miles away from Coventry up to the Aberdeenshire countryside. Just on a lunchtime walk, so let's step back to the beginning. I went to the University of Derby in 1998ish, did a internet marketing degree. I was a bit stupid at the time and enjoyed the party lifestyle a little bit too much. So I ended up leaving uni a year early and met Sarah. I moved into Sarah's mum's house. Her mum was super nice to me. Needed a job and quick. So I got a job in a call centre, and the countryside was the last thing on my mind at the time. Or even thinking about getting horses. So I did the call centre job for a few years. Then we bought a masonette down in Coventry. We then had nightmare neighbours, so that was quite a problem. And I then got a job as a bin man for probably about 5 years. And I was going through some personal struggles at the time. I knew that I had a lot more to give, and it was really frustrating at the time. And I was on the internet one night and I found a company which were looking for people to pitch iPhone app ideas to. So this was back in 2008. And I saw this as a big opportunity. This was long before Jock was born. So I brainstormed about 100 different ideas for iPhone apps. It was brand new at the time. One of the ideas which I pitched the company was called Problem Halved. So it was a bit like an agony aunt style application to try and help people. Because I'd done internet marketing at university, I knew I had a good pitch. So the idea was that I was going to pitch the media with the fact that by day I was emptying dustbins and by night I was developing iPhone apps. So almost going from trash bags to hashtags. I generated a lot of media attention and was featured on the BBC, Al Jazeera, CNN, Globo in Brazil. So the story went pretty viral. Little did I know at the time that I would be moving to Croft in the middle of nowhere. It was the last thing on my mind. The app did pretty well. And the company were really impressed with my ability to generate media attention, so they offered me a full-time position promoting other apps. That was fantastic. I got to travel to Los Angeles, places like Las Vegas, and it was absolutely fantastic, and talk to loads of different celebrities, including working on apps which featured some big stars. Then I was made redundant due to finances. That knocked me for six, if I'm being honest. I didn't know what to do next. I did some consultancy work for a few companies. Then in around 2018, my uncle passed away in his late 80s. Sarah and I and her mum used to travel to Scotland a lot on holidays over the years. They probably went to the west coast of Scotland probably 8 or 9 times. Obviously we had the horses, so we had the horses fairly early on, so this was probably around 2003, 2004 maybe. And after visiting Scotland, we kind of had this dream of buying somewhere with land and living in the countryside. It took us about 15 years to achieve the dream. So every time we went on holiday to the west coast of Scotland, I used to hate coming back. It felt horrible going away from the countryside back to the city, but we had to persevere. My uncle very, very kindly left enough money for the deposit on Cooker Hill. One night Sarah was looking on the internet and found Crocker Hill, and I decided to take a gamble, a big gamble. I decided to book a flight, fly up and have a look at this place. This was in the July of 2019. And in the end, I decided to take the gamble and make the move. We ended up moving in the November, so the weather had obviously changed a little bit. I had no idea about the weather conditions in Aberdeenshire, Scotland. So when we turned up, it was about 70 mile-an-hour winds, rainy, and yeah, it was quite a different life, because we used to live in a cul-de-sac off the city centre, about a mile away from Coventry city centre. So it was a big change for us. Then we had the pandemic in 2019, well, 2020. So we were just settling in, and it was quite difficult to get to know people in the area because of the pandemic and the restrictions. So that went on for a couple of years. Then obviously 2024 we lost my mother-in-law, and that came as a big shock. So she used to live in the bothy on the land here. So it's taken a couple of years to adjust to that. Still not fully over it, but it's getting a little bit easier to manage day by day. You have like a vision of what you want somewhere to be like, and you have kind of like a dream, but sometimes life doesn't always work out how you imagine it. So we've obviously lost a few people over the last few years, so life has changed fundamentally, massively in so many different ways. But you know what, you just have to get on with it. A lot of people probably see the Croft and think, oh, what a beautiful, beautiful place to live, and it must be idyllic. And it is, don't get me wrong, it's idyllic. But at the same time, people make things idyllic in a way. So obviously, through the losses which we've had, it tinges things a little bit, but it's time to kind of roll up my sleeves a little bit and just crack on. I'm not particularly practical, which means that there's so much stuff which needs doing around here that sometimes there's not enough hours in the day, because obviously I work full time, and it's just the two of us here, and things do cost a lot of money. But would I change it? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't go back to Coventry now or live in a city. I like the peace and quiet too much. I think back 20, 30 years ago, before the internet, it would have been quite tricky, because the nearest shops would be kind of Aberdeen to buy clothes and that kind of thing. But nowadays with the internet, it makes things a lot easier. I really appreciate the comments on yesterday's video with ideas for content for the channel. It's difficult sometimes because I'm busy during the day working, and sometimes you only have so much headspace to come up with ideas. So thanks for the ideas for content for the channel. So I'm going to head down the coast, I think, at the weekend. Might go to a place called Rosehearty, which isn't too far from here, and do one of those walking vlogs. So I'll just get the camera, hit the record button, and then you can follow me on like a gentle stroll around a coastal village or a coastal town here in north east Scotland in Aberdeenshire. We're probably about 12-13 miles away from Fraserburgh, so you've got a huge stretch of coastline all the way down to Aberdeen, and all the way across towards Inverness and Lossiemouth. So there's a lot of places for me to go explore still. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video, a bit of background on us, and yeah, I really appreciate everyone tuning in and watching. It's been good, it's a good distraction, doing the vlogs and posting the videos about Freya as well, and the animals. So watch this space. I'm trying really hard with the channel to grow it. Things take time. Rome wasn't built in a day, I guess, and thanks for the support, and I'll see you in tomorrow's vlog. See you in the next one. Bye bye.